Hello guys, welcome back. This is part 2, Affinity Designer Basics. In this part we want to discover how to create rasterization effects with Affinity Designer and also how to create these distressed or vintage effects for text. So stay tuned. This is where we left off in part 1. We finished our design, we created it, and in the middle we can see that we have a smiley face with a relatively big chunky yellow circle. Let's try to soften this up with rasterization. For this we select the yellow circle in the layers menu. And then we move our mouse to the left hand side and select the pixel persona. With changing to pixel persona, we receive a couple of new tools here on the left hand side, and also we unlock new brushes. Some of these brushes come with Affinity Designer from the start, others have been bought afterwards. We're going to start to work with textures, and then we select halftone brush 1 and the eraser tool. If you can't find or don't have the halftone brushes in your setup, you can always purchase them separately from Artifacts Forge or similar stores. With the eraser and the halftone brush selected, we select our layer and brush away. We can use a larger width, in this case 800 pixels, because the effect will only be applied to the yellow circle. Zooming in, we can recognize that halftone brush 1 took away quite a lot of color. We can remove this effect by selecting the brush effect on the layer, just click on the circle and hit backspace to delete. Let's move back to the designer persona and try a different technique. Here we select the yellow layer again and delete the color out of it, so it's just an empty circle. With the empty circle, we switch back to the pixel persona here on the left hand side and we select the brush instead of the eraser tool. Again, we use halftone brush 1. We make the width a little bit wider, 800. Make sure that you have selected the yellow color. And brush away. You can brush over multiple times to make sure the holes are distributed evenly. Zooming in, we can now see that there is much more color than on the previous result, but the holes are a little bit small, so we don't gain much softness. We now have just the opposite effect. Let's try this again. We go into brushes. And this time we use halftone brush 4, which has much smaller dots. The width again we change to 800. Brush away. Yep, that looks much better. That looks more something that I like. So now we have created an image out of little dots. And there's still enough color vibrancy for me. What's also quite interesting to see is how the same image would look like when we're using the eraser with halftone brush 4 instead of the brush with halftone brush 4. Let me duplicate this layer and put it on the side. So now that we have a full surface circle, we select the eraser tool. Width is 800 pixels and we brush over it. If we put them side by side and zoom into it, it's quite interesting to see that the image created with the eraser tool has holes punched into a solid area and everything stays connected, while the image created with the brush tool is created out of individual dots and is not connected, and this will also hold up better in the wash and will potentially crack less. There's no way to control the direction of the dots or the dots individually besides choosing the different brush sizes like from 1 to 4, but at least it's a nice way to create halftone effects on a certain section of your design. You can also use the same technique to create different vintage or grunge effects. Let me show you one example at the keep text. For this we are going to remove the yellow filling of the keep text, the same way we did it with the circle. Then we are going to the pixel persona, selecting the brush tool, and then we are selecting a different brush. We're using dry media and there the gritty crayon. Brush over your text and create the desired grunge effect to your liking. You can repeat this as often as you want to. For the smiling part, we are going to use a different structure. We are going to use textures and there the grunge pattern 4. You can paint over the same area multiple times to really fill out your letters. Once we are happy with it, we are going to disable the background, click on File, Export, and then we're going to export in our favorite file format. This here is the final result, printed with the iColor 560 and fluorescent toners. I hope you like it and I hope you have learned something useful. If you did, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, bye bye.